Morning, morning. Elvis morning. Right, I need to just quickly tell everyone. So I forgot. I always forget. I don't know why. I always forget. It's Louis in the UK. It's near Bristol in southwest UK. The name of the channel is Defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. I think the name says exactly what we're doing. Right, let's have a look. Let me just tell everyone. Okay, live now. Let's have a look. So yeah, our Defending Elvis Presley Louis Daily live streams Facebook page doing really well. Really well. Obviously, we've got the 24/7 24/7 chat that is just never stops. Absolutely amazing. Okay, right. There's a possibility that the kids are going to come down and annoy me and drive me mad. Hi, Linda. Hi, Bex. It's going to take a little while for people to jump on. I wanted today's subject. I thought we could just talk about Red West. We know about Mark Hebler. I thought I'd play a few videos of Red West, his life after Elvis. Hi, Jane. Hi, Deborah. I'll just wait for a few of you to get on. So let's see if I can play a bit of gospel just while we're waiting. Let's have a look. I do like the gospel at the moment. I've been listening to gospel this morning. I'll get copyrighted, but let's find a short bit.
The king sings some gospel.
Yeah, he does.
Gentlemen, if you would, I would like to ask for stamps if they would sing a song.
Right, let's just listen to this.
It's a beautiful song called Sweet, Sweet Spirit. I don't sing it, just listen to that, please.
Right. Hello? Okay, I'm just doing live. We actually need tea coffee on that. You know, they sell it all they sell it all in the garage. Beautiful. beautiful. I love it. I just love a bit of gospel. It does soothe me. And you know, we all have problems, don't we, guys? And sometimes we have quite serious problems. So we need some of that. I really believe that. You're welcome, SK. So we've got Jean, the Becks, Deborah, and Sherry, Linda. So I'm going to do we're going to go into Red West, just watch a few things together. Let me just make a bit of room for the camera, actually. So, you know, a bit of an awkward introduction now that I'm going to give you guys. Obviously, we had a bit of a problem yesterday. I want to be honest with you. I don't think it was bullying. I've had a real good chance to go through all the messages that were going back and forth. Happy Labor Day. Is it Labor? I don't know about Labor Day. What is Labor Day? Please tell me. So I just want to get this out of the way, this thing about yesterday. I'm not going to name any names. And I definitely want to clear up something. I don't think what happened yesterday was bullying. What I think is that we have more than two actually, a few very passionate Elvis fans that truly love Elvis, that disagreed on a few things. And I just think as they're messaging each other and the other people did join in, I just think emotions got high, and I do think that the argument went on longer than it needed to. But I won't call it bullying. That is not fair to call it bullying, because if we get emotional because we have different views, it doesn't make us a bully. It just means that we disagreed. Now, do I think you get to a certain point where you just think, okay, you said enough, that's enough now. I think we've got past that point. I do think that once you get past the point of agreeing to disagree, then it's pointless. It's pointless. Now, I always say this. What would Elvis do? What would Elvis do if he was in a disagreement with someone and the other person wasn't going to give in? What would Elvis do? And I'll tell you what. You tell me, guys. I think he would let it go. I think he would realize to just understand the other person's point of view and maybe just let it go. I really do think that. I don't think he'd push it. I don't think he was that kind. Was he? Do you think, guys? Yeah. So you guys, we're not going to always agree on our opinions. Yeah. And many times I jump up and disagree with people. Definitely certain subjects. I will jump up and say, no way, no way. Now, I never mean that in a rude way. I don't do that to argue. I do it to I have my line. Yeah. My line is that we're here to defend Elvis Presley. That's what we've become. Even though I used to be something else, I used to be a channel that made mini documentaries about Elvis, shorts and wides. I had different views on people like Priscilla and the Memphis Mafia. We have evolved through your comments, because 100% I've always said to you guys, your comments turned me into defending Elvis. I had a moment, it wasn't that long ago, 3 months ago I think it was, when I started thinking I'm missing something. I need to go back and start doing more research. Only because of you guys. No other reason. No other reason. You guys are the reason Defending Elvis Presley exists. Now, I didn't start arguing with all you guys. That's not how it happened. I wasn't arguing. 3 months ago, I'd been getting messages on and off most days, people trying to set me right about their views on Priscilla, on Memphis Mafia, on Colonel Tom Parker, and on Dr. Nick, things like that. I was set in my old ways. I still believe the things I learnt in the 70s and 80s, even 90s. I was pretty stuck in my ways, guys. So I sort of carried on like that for decades, never knowing that I was going to set up a YouTube Elvis channel. Don't forget, my Elvis channel wasn't Defending Elvis. So one thing I do remember, guys, is that I didn't argue. When you guys were giving me comments saying, "Oh, do you know this? Do you know that?" Sometimes quite upset comments, quite angry comments. I didn't argue. I always used to say, "I understand. I understand." It was very much, you're entitled to your views. I have my views. It was always like that. It was never an argument. And I carry that forward to now. I'm so glad that when I went through those couple of years of making videos and shorts, that it never became a big argument. It was just disagreements, passionate disagreements, and we would agree to disagree. It was always done lightheartedly. Yeah. So I ask you here now, guys. I definitely do want us to discuss awkward subjects. I think we have to. We're defending Elvis. Awkward subjects are going to come up. I don't want people to stay quiet. I want people to speak up. But not awkward subjects to make Elvis look bad. Now, there's a difference. If someone says to me, how can I say it? Let me just try and say this. If someone says to me that Elvis took street drugs, yeah, now that's going to get my back up, because I'm a total believer that he was on very, very strong medication. Yeah. Yes, we know he took uppers and downers and painkillers and sedatives. I know that. I understand that. I'm not stupid. But the bottom line is Elvis was against street drugs. So if an Elvis fan is telling me that he took street drugs, I'm going to react 100%. 100%. If someone is telling me, if someone is, like, I'll give you an example, the Memphis Mafia. If someone, for example, the Elvis Tell-All book, yeah? If someone is trying to tell me that the Elvis Tell-All book, that these three guys have done nothing wrong, I'm going to react, guys. And this is what the subject was yesterday, yeah? Now, when I say react, I mean respectfully react. I mean debate, discuss, yeah? I'm not going to get mouthy. I'm not going to get rude. I'm not going to shout people down. I'm just going to say, this is why I don't agree with you. But I do say this. We are called Defending Elvis Presley. That is why we're here. Defending Elvis Presley. There is no other reason now. That now is what I do. Yes, I do make Elvis Presley videos, mini documentaries, and I do like to repost old footage. I love doing that and talking about it. And we like to analyze many things. But I will always be trying to build Elvis up. Elvis, I've got, Elvis can trust me. I won't make him look bad. Yeah? I think almost all of you are like that. That Elvis can trust you and you won't make him look bad. So my answer, and I'll end it at this, is if anyone on our channel defending Elvis Presley in any way makes Elvis look bad, they're not welcome. They are not welcome. Now, So, of course, if someone is saying things that make Elvis look bad, they're going to get a big reaction. They're going to get a big reaction, guys. And this is why I don't think what happened yesterday was bullying, because I've read all the comments. It was not bullying. Yeah, it was. I see it that it was a couple of people that were just truly trying to defend Elvis. That's what I read when I went through the comments. So guys, some of you may not agree with me, but there was no bullying yesterday. There was heated disagreements. It's not bullying. I just want to put some water in my coffee. So right, let's make this coffee. So my last words on it are, we are here to defend Elvis. That is it. We had this situation a couple of months ago, didn't we? And someone was insisting that we talk about young girls, underage girls. And we fell out. We had to block that person. And I think something like that has happened now a little bit. Someone insisting that we talk about certain subjects that we just don't want to talk about because it doesn't defend Elvis. It doesn't defend Elvis to accuse him of horrible things. Yeah. So that's where we are, guys. That's where we are. Right. I'm just going to read that. Let's have a look. So I'm just going to read some of your comments, and then we'll move on to the stuff I want to do with Red West. I still don't know what Labour Day is. Linda, debates are good. I love debates. Yeah, but not if they're making Elvis look bad. If they're making Elvis look bad, I don't want to talk about it. We're here to show the good that Elvis did, how great a human being he was. We're not here to make people think that he was a street druggie or that he deserved his treatment by the Memphis Mafia. We're not here for that. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Dick. Right, so that. Elvis definitely let people believe what they believe and respected people's differences. This is SK. And respected people's differences, even when he didn't agree. Hard to be so cool as Elvis that way, or anyway at all. But a good goal. Yes, I agree, SK. Right, so I followed you way back. Yeah, you remember before I became defending Elvis Presley. Guys, my channel had different views. But don't forget, I wasn't a defending Elvis channel. I was just making little videos. If we all agreed on everything, it would be boring. As long as nobody says anything horrible about Elvis, like the things that we are defending. That's completely correct, Linda. 100%. That is my point. That is my point. If Elvis was bullied, he used his karate skills on him. Yeah. Elvis, I'll tell you what, I love watching Elvis. We're going to do a whole video on Elvis's karate. I love it. And it actually shows Elvis doing karate with Red West, doesn't it? I might show that in a minute. So Bebex, JD, he could also react just feeling hurt. The last time was different, I think. Let's have a look. Right. Labor Day is a 4-day holiday making the end of the summer. I didn't know that. Oh, enjoy your 4 days off, guys. Memorial Day is the day holiday making beginning of the summer. Right, okay. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Right. So I did put some, let's have a look. Now, I was going to play you the Red West conversation, yeah? But the problem with that is you can't understand a word of it. Now, then I was going to read off the conversation because a few people have sent it me. Lorraine had sent it me as well. But this conversation would take me an hour to read. So then I just thought, we're going to have to go at it in a different way. Obviously, you know, guys, you know my views. I don't think Red West should have recorded that conversation. I think he's out of order. I think that's not what friends do. Really don't. Let's have a look. Let me just... I did put some on my... Let's just get this on. So we're just going to get a feel for Red West. I'm going to reheat my coffee as well while I'm doing it. So just watch this, guys, and then we're going to comment on it.
Joe Don Baker down to visit with us. He had Bo Hopkins in town. He has an actor's studio that is doing real well. I've sent a couple students out there to you, by the way. I certainly have. He has a lovely wife, Pat, and if it hadn't been for being out in Florida, he may never have met his wife because we took her out to Graceland to visit one time. Elvis hired her as a secretary. Red courted her, and they later became man and wife, and they're a lovely couple and two marvelous children. And he's a great guy and a dear friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Red West. Well, thank you, George. I'm sorry I'm late, but it's been a busy day. I had some prior commitments, and I got here as fast as I could. My buddy, Bobby Dawson, who went to school. Bobby Dawson, yes. Where's Dawson and Betty? We lied him. We used to lie him. He used to fight. Another school. Yeah, we lied him when you lied him. But, yeah, we have a prior commitment with them, and before that, have another commitment. It's not enough hours in the day, but I'm glad to see all these Elvis fans here. Keep it up. And we've all got a lot of years, a lot of great stories, you know, to share with everybody. It was a good life. I'm sorry that it ended the way it did, but that's the way life is, you know, sometimes. But he was the greatest, always will be the greatest, and he's the best friend I ever had. So I'm glad to be here, and we'll be here the rest of the night. Red, a lot of people want to know, what are you doing these days? I just really touched on it briefly. You bring up to date what Red West is Well, like. I just finished, there's a movie coming out called Gun and Beverly's Handbag. We did in Oxford. That's been a lot of promos around town. And I just got back from Hollywood. I did a thing, Joseph Wambaugh, who wrote Onion Field. And Choir Boy, the ex-policeman that became a writer. I just finished the movie with him.
Okay. Right, I just want to comment on that bit. Let me just check your comments. Best friend he ever had, Red, was manipulating him in that call. Told him in that call that the book was only going to be good things, while Elvis is telling him, and he is still there for Red and his family. Right, Melissa, I watched the phone call this morning. Yeah, I watched it on YouTube. I agree with you. Melissa. Now, whilst I quickly warmed up my coffee, I was listening to that section. Now, the way that I don't like, you see the way he says, you know, I'm sorry how things turned out. Then goes on to boast about his new career as an actor. Yeah? So let me just listen to that bit again. Let's hear it again.
Years, a lot of
You see if he says it again.
but I'm glad to see all these Elvis fans here. Keep it up. And we've all got a lot of years, a lot of great stories, you know, to share with everybody. It was a good life. I'm sorry that it ended the way it did, but that's the way life is, you know, sometimes. But he was the greatest, always will be the greatest, and he's the best friend I ever had.
So many points in there. I'm sorry that it ended the way it did. I had a great life, best life ever. It doesn't add up, does it? He's sort of saying, lucky me, I had a great life. Look, I have this new career now. I'm an actor. Yeah. all because of Elvis. Yeah, that man from the 50s had the life of luxury, and his thanks was to write a tell-all book. That was his thanks to Elvis, a tell-all book. To be honest with you, Elvis was so unwell by 1977 for many reasons, because of his obviously he had chronic health complications that he'd been living with for a few years, but not just that. You've got the side effects of all these different pills, medications that he was taking. And come on, it was mental health things as well, wasn't it? And there probably was some depression as well, and anxiety. Yeah, just so many things. Elvis, we know, was in a very bad place. We also know, if we listen to Ginger Oldham, he was trying to get better. He was trying to get through it. He was optimistic about the future. So it isn't all bad. I don't think Elvis walked around suicidal, hated life. I don't think that. I actually think Elvis, right to the end, tried to make the best of things. Don't forget, he was. Billy Smith says that that he played the piano. Was it racquetball, and the night before he passed, Billy explains his life. Ginger Oldham has clearly gone into detail what Elvis was like the last few months of his life, and it wasn't all bad. I hear children. Anyway, so what bothers me about Red West is that no matter what he says, he can't get away from the fact that his life was great. Red West life was amazing. I'm going to play a bit more of this and sort my kid out. Right, 1 minute. Right, let me just.
So I'm glad to be here.
Right, here we go. What do you want?
Red, a lot of people want to know what are you doing these days. I just really touched on it briefly. If you bring them up to date, what Red West is
Well,
like.
I just finished. There's a movie coming out called Gun and Bed Loose Handbag. We did in Oxford. That's being a lot of promos around town. And I just got back from Hollywood. I did a thing. Joseph Wambaugh, who wrote Onion Field and Choir Boy, the ex-policeman that became a writer. I just finished the movie with him of his called. It's going to be a series, Joseph Wambaugh Chronicles. Hello.
Who's playing with it, Red? I got a question for both of Bob and Jay and Red West. Red, I was just thinking before I came down tonight, you probably had more fights with Elvis than anybody in the group, because Red would do the fight scenes with Elvis in the motion pictures. He screwed up his knee in Flaming Star. And when I remember the funny thing, I was taking a shower today and I started laughing, and I was laughing about Sonny. Sonny was showing us there's a guy named Mushy Callahan used to what they call gap. It means how do you explain it?
Stunt coordinator. He's the ex-champion of the world.
He was a boxer.
Flyweight, yeah.
And Sonny thought he was going to get to do some of the fight scenes. Sonny was at the Sam Goldwyn Studios, and he was demonstrating to us what he's going to do. His knee went out. They took him to the hospital, and Red did all the fight scenes with Elvis. We've done the fight scenes previously. But Red, can you tell us about, and I know I'm biased and I'm prejudiced, and it's hard to be objective, but I see fight scenes in motion pictures today, and they don't look half as realistic as the fight scenes that you did with Elvis.
Well, because I was as close to real as you could get, I guess. I mean, we worked out in karate a lot, and I'm proud to say that Elvis and I were probably the first two people to do a karate fight on television, and that's where it all evolved from.
Is that Flaming Star?
Flaming Star. Right? We did karate and Flaming Star, Indians, and that's how Ed Parker had the karate studio going, but that's when karate took off in the United States and everywhere. Once Elvis started, it became known that he was doing it. But let's see, he made 33 movies, right?
31.
Yeah, 33. And I have the distinction of, other than Elvis being in more of his movies than anybody else, I was in 28 to 29, I don't know. And we did a fight scene in almost every one of them. and I've got the scars through the funniest thing we ever did on Flaming Star. Of course, we had horses, and I just broken my elbow doing a fight scene with him. Had the cast, and I'm riding by on this horse. And had never thrown a lasso in his life, and he just happened to have a rope. And I'm coming by with this big quarter horse. He threw this rope out and went right around my neck. And the horse and I pulled the horse back. I wasn't about to come off the horse with this broken elbow. But my tongue got to shoot out a foot. The horse's tongue shot out a foot. We stopped. It was frozen. He couldn't believe he lassoed me, and he just stayed there looking at it with this rope. And that was one stunt that I didn't get paid for.
You didn't get what adjustment? Is that right, Richard?
It confuses me because he spends all of the time boasting about how great things were and his different acting roles and the karate, and he mentions the Flaming Star. I just see, when I listen to Red West, I just hear a man that had a brilliant life, but then right at the end of it, betrayed Elvis. I really believe that. So I'm completely against that book. That book should never have happened. I really believe that from the bottom of my heart. So I'm just going to go through some of your comments. Now, you've got to remember, I know that Elvis, like Deborah has just said, that she feels that Red West helped Elvis. Of course, I know that, guys. I know that the Memphis Mafia loved him, helped him. They were obviously his personal bodyguards and did many other things for Elvis. Also, I'm not talking about all of the Memphis Mafia because different ones did different jobs, and so I know that they did good as well, and that's what makes it worse to me. What makes the whole thing worse is that they were close. They did love each other. They had a long life together, and I think Red West says that he became a middle-aged man with Elvis, which is true. Tina, just sit down, please. Tina. So my point is, Tina's awake, guys. My point is, there was no need for that book. There was no need. And they used the excuse, I think Dave Hebler used the excuse that you couldn't get to Elvis, you couldn't talk to him. I'm not convinced. I think Melissa just mentioned the fact there was lawsuits because they were too heavy-handed. Now, I think that is true. But I just find it difficult that these people that I think at the end betrayed him, but then went on to have very full lives, making money off his name, making money off the friendship they had with him. That frustrates me. I'm sorry, it frustrates me. Now, I want to read a couple of your comments. Let's have a look. Where are we? Right, it's okay. I'm trying to do this before my wife gets back. Vibex, I have no respect for Red and his brother. I agree. They're out of order. Red West, I've admitted this loads of times. Red West for me was one of my favourite. Until I started digging and understanding the truth. Then I changed my mind. Hi, Deborah. It's hard for me to stomach Red West and Dave, especially since Red West yelled at the fans and he recorded the Elvis call. I agree. That phone call, and we're going to play some clips of it in a minute. That phone call should never have been recorded, ever. You do not record your best friends, especially at that very sensitive time in Elvis's life, just before he died, but also, come on, let's face it, the point of the call was to discuss the book. I think Elvis was very gracious when he said, do what you got to do. Very gracious. It just says everything about Elvis, how nice he was. Red West was co-authors of the shameful book, Elvis, What Happened? Exactly. You just don't talk about a real friend. That's not a real man. Gio, I agree. Bex agrees. Right. Deborah says a real man wouldn't do that. Then Melissa, what I don't understand is they fired themselves several times and brought them back. I know Vernon did it. Why was it this time so different? I'll tell you why I think. I think Red West had decided, he says this in an interview, he decided, he knew this time he wasn't going back. He says it clearly. This time I knew it was over. I knew that was it. I was going to write a book about my life. His own words. He says it clearly. So do I think Elvis would have took them back? Yeah, probably. I think he probably would, because that had been the pattern, hadn't it? Fire them, bring them back. Fire them, bring them back. Whenever Elvis calmed down, he would bring them back. SK, Red was one of the extra strong character friends Elvis loved and respected, and doesn't make Red perfect or never have done anything wrong or bad to Elvis when he was hurt. Elvis surely forgives him. Yeah, come on. There's good things I can say about Red West as well. There's good things. You know, he wasn't all bad, but the last act, the book, recording the conversation, nah, no thanks. That was a no-no. Dr. Nick, that's for a different subject. I'll quickly just say, JD, that I think Dr. Nick was in a very difficult position. I think that he had inherited an impossible situation. I'm not a big Dr. Nick fan. He made a lot of mistakes. I think he did many things that he shouldn't have done. But I also think he really loved Elvis and bent over backwards to try and help him and try and reduce the amount of medication he was taking, even using placebos. So the story with Dr. Nick is mixed. It's complex. And we'll cover that. We've done it a few times. We'll cover it again. This is just my views. Louis at home in my lounge, in my kitchen. I'm not an expert. I'm not a researcher. I'm just a fan at home, making videos with Team Elvis, and we research together and we find pictures and video footage and interviews and documents. But I'm just a guy at home. I'm no expert, and I do get my facts wrong. So please remember, I'm just a fan at home. Rebecca, yeah, we can agree to disagree and say so in a respectful way. So for Bex, I have always wondered, but it doesn't sound like it was a new thing for them to get fired. Yeah, he did wrong, but I feel they did try to help Elvis. I agree with that. Deborah, the Bex, right, civilized people can just respect each other's opinion and have peace with that. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I would like. Yeah, that we can have a disagreement, but don't take it too far where we're actually arguing. Yeah. I will say this, though. If people want to bring up a topic that's going to make Elvis look bad, I don't want it on this channel. I do not want it on this channel. Team Elvis are here to boost Elvis, to bring out the good, to let us discuss the good that Elvis did, not to make him look bad. Anyone that's trying to make him look bad, they're not welcome on this channel. Not welcome. That's right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Right. Sorry, it jumped up again. It always jumps up. So, Melissa, I've read several reasons. One being Sonny and Red are getting into many physical fights, causing lawsuits. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, it sounded like if we disagree, we're not allowed to say soldier. I'm not sure if that's aimed at me, Bex, but no, we can disagree. We can debate. Yeah, we do. In fact, we do. We regularly have different opinions, but I won't bring up topics to make that just blatantly make him look bad. I won't do that. Remember, the name of our channel is Defending Elvis Presley. We are going to do that. We're not going to trash Elvis and then argue about it. It's not going to happen. Not on this channel. It will not happen. Right. I agree that he did, but he also tried to help him. Sometimes I think the nurses didn't do their jobs. I mean, that's a whole subject in itself, isn't it? With the nurses, is it Marianne and Tish Henley? Friend, don't do that to each other. I don't like any of the Memphis Mafia. They all hurt Elvis for no reason. I would never write a book. I don't think they were all bad, Teresa. I think many of you have told me that Charlie Hodge was good, Larry Geller was good, Billy Smith, but some of you feel that Billy Smith changed his tune a bit as the years went by. Again, I'm no expert. The book was out of spite and never should have come out. I agree, Colin. They were bitter and angry, and they've admitted it. They were bitter and angry, and I've seen them admit it. Red West and Sonny. I class Dave Hepper as a bit of a newbie, to be honest with you. I think he came along later, didn't he? Linda, yeah, I think they were angry. Written out of pure anger.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, in a minute. I'll make you some Weetabix in a minute, yeah?
No.
What do you want, mate?
I want that thing.
The what thing?
That thing.
What thing?
There's
Let's have a look. Oh, I know. You want some...
Yeah.
Right. Right, let me I'll just read these comments. Let's have a look. Deborah, there's a lot said that Dr. Nick tried to
I
change...
want spaghetti.
You want what? Let me... Right, I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to sort him out. Come back. Read these comments. Let's see what he wants. Right. Right. Let's have a look. I actually found a few things that I wanted to play you guys. Right, I'm going to put this back on so I can make him his breakfast, and then I'm going to come back.
Fred, the question is, for the audience, did you ever actually hit Elvis at a fight scene?
Never. He hit me.
He hit you?
Never hit, no. I never, no. But proud to say I've never hit anybody except Conrad. I grazed Conrad in Wild Wild West once, but that was, I just got his attention. Never hit Elvis.
Okay, now, Red is going to have good he was in karate. Red at one time had a karate school, and he's pretty proficient in the sport himself. Red, comment on Elvis's ability in karate. Let's settle that for once and for all.
Elvis was very capable in karate. Very capable. When he wasn't on stage singing in Las Vegas, we were upstairs. We even had a class upstairs with Richard and everybody can attest to. We had classes up there. Everybody had their keys on, and we lined up and went through our collars, went through the things. He would do demonstrations every night. Whoever was up there, Ann Margaret, Tom Jones, anybody. We went into karate, and then he went into singing. That was his two favorite things, singing and karate. And we must have logged at least 4 hours a day in karate.
That's not your question? What is your question then? That's really not a good question. Dr. Accomplice was a very dear friend of Elvis. You don't know the whole story. The question is, why could we not do something about Dr. Accomplice? Is that what you're saying? Dr. Accomplice was a very close friend of Elvis. Any of these guys will tell you that Jerry Schilling said it best. When Dr. Accomplice was there, Elvis was in good health. When he wasn't, Elvis's health was questionable. Is that right, Red? That's right.
There was a lot of doctors other than Dr. McAlpin.
That's okay. Well, let's go on to something else. Shh.
He was singing the national anthem and forgot the words. Because always had this little gun there. You stupid.
It wasn't anything personal against Robert Gillette. Yes, sir. You're over here. The letter by Wayne Newton. The letter by Wayne Newton, where Elvis supposedly Billy wrote some notes and threw it in a waste can. Read, somebody found it. Later on, they put it up for auction, and then Wayne Newton got a hold of it and had a guy work with him on the lyrics, and he wants to know the validity of the letter.
Well, I can't say, but let's just say this: it sounds very far-fetched.
Okay. All right. That's a good answer. Okay, Chris Jones. Yes, over here. Listen, I think he and Charlie, the three of them, composed a song together.
You'll be gone.
You'll Be Gone is a song. The other songs that you see on this name,
Right. Okay, sorry about that. My son was giving me a bit of grief. I think he's okay now. Right, let's see. Let's have a look. I got to try and do this before my wife gets back. The kids are all upstairs. There's 4 of them upstairs. Let's have a look. Where are we? So Colleen, the book was done out of spite and never should have come. Written from pure anger. Linda, I think they were definitely angry. There's a lot said that Dr. Nick tried to change the contents of the meds for the sugar and water, and which Elvis realized in the end. And if you're in massive pain all over, you feel like you need to stop. And I've read about that. Right. Deborah, may I ask for the prayers for everyone? My husband took a turn for the last night and the worst, and he is still in hospital. Thank you, Eugene. Oh, we send you love. We send you love. From Team Elvis, all of us together, we send you love, Gene. So then we've got, yeah. If Elvis told me things, I would never tell anybody what else Elvis had told me. If I was not for Elvis, there would be nothing. That book, yeah. They owe Elvis a lot. They owe Elvis a lot. Elvis was gracious during the whole court, and Red was straight out of line to him. Everyone's sending Gene love. Life has its ups and downs, guys. Trust me. We've all been through it, haven't we? We all know how tough life can be sometimes. So where are we? So we've got, not to go off topic, but last night I watched from Prime Discovery about Ben, and it has some interesting things to say about Riley and Priscilla's relationship. Riley, I'll look that up, Colleen. Thank you. Okay, let's have a look. So I'm just trying to skim through them, because the comments, because I'm aware that my wife's going to be home soon. Susan, apparently they have always been at each other's throat, and Riley changed the locks to the upstairs and the archives as soon as Lisa passed to keep Priscilla out. We know they had a very, very rocky time. Let's have a look. Did you love the interview? I was talking to Dave and said he went to the bookstores and glued the pages together. I'm not really sure about that. Priscilla was dominant parent to Lisa. It wouldn't surprise me. Right. Oh, let's have a look. Yes. Colleen, I heard about it. Had to move out to take possession with her, but resulted in the agreement. So I've lost track of what. Let's have a look. Thank you so much, Louis. My Elvis arc. Everyone loves you, Gene. You know that. Everyone loves you. We're all sending you love. Right, let's see. Let's try and find these clips that I found with Red West. Let's have a look. So I made some clips a while ago with the Elvis. Let's see if I can dig them up. Yeah, this is one. Right, here we go.
All them, and then he called me. He said, Ernest said, Red, all them.
Right, let's watch this. This.
Then he called me. He said, Ernest said, Red, we got to cut back on some expenses here. We're spending too much money, and we're going to have to let some people go. And I can't explain the feeling. I just felt empty after all these years, after all we've gone through. But I knew, I'd gone and come back. I knew I'd never go back. I knew this was it. It was over forever. I grew up with Elvis Presley. I grew up and became a middle-aged man with Elvis Presley. And then all of a sudden, it's over. I knew the drugs had him. They were going to get him. And there was no turning back. and I felt sick. And I said, I'm going to write a book about my life story, with Elvis. And in this book, I was going to try one more time to wake this idiot up. And he called me, and we discussed the book. We had a long conversation. It's on tape. And he said, well, do what you got to do, Red. And I did.
So, I mean, it's quite heart-wrenching, isn't it? You hear, I know that's just a very short snippet of it, but Red clearly admits he was angry and he was going to write a book about his life. Clearly says it. No, and come on, we know that Lisa Marie was very, very upset and called them snakes. Yeah, called them snakes. Let's just listen to this bit here.
But nobody knew who Elvis was then. The
Story goes, and I want to hear from you.
Let's just listen to this. I'm just trying to get a feel for Red West, yeah? I've noticed that him and George Klein obviously were very good friends, weren't they? And George...
Memphis in football and baseball for Humes High School. But Red, what I want to get to, as at Humes High School, the story goes, and I want to hear from you exactly how it happened. You're up on the third floor bathroom at Humes High School.
Yeah.
Elvis is in there, and you pick up the story.
Well, I know that we weren't close. It was a small school. We knew each other. Elvis was always different. He made more progress later on in the music industry. He had to be different. Well, he was the same way in high school, but nobody knew who Elvis was then. I just knew him casually. And I happened to walk in the bathroom one day, and the bullies, there's three guys, two were holding him, and we were going to cut his hair.
Yeah.
Because we all had crew cuts, and his hair was back, long.
Yeah.
And we just going to cut his hair, and I happened to walk in, and I said, what's going on? He said, we're going to give him a haircut. I said, doesn't look like he wants the haircut. And we're not going to hurt him. I said, no. If you cut his hair, you got to cut my hair. And I had a crew cut. And I said, I don't think you can do that. And they saw that I was serious, and they backed off. And that was it.
That was really the bonding of you and Elvis.
Yeah.
He never forgot that.
No, I know he didn't.
Pretty boy. Hey. It's like a woman. Hey, the squirrel. Came out of a tree. Look at it. Coach Boys, Coach Boys.
Boy wants to wear his hair that way, let him. I don't see no reason to write him about it.
Maybe they wear it like that in Squirrel Town, but this is Memphis, boy. Yeah, we're gonna give him a trim.
That's just fine. See, you cut his hair. You're gonna have to cut mine too. And that's a whole different development now, isn't it? Now go on, get out of here.
I love that scene. And I have a think because I would have watched that scene when I was a little boy. Yeah, maybe I was. Let me just think. I was probably a teenager when I watched that scene, and it's probably that scene that endeared me to Red West. I always felt Red West was my favorite of Elvis's friends and bodyguards. So, you know, a few of you guys have said, they did love him. They wanted to help him. Of course, they had concerns, serious concerns about his medication and the amount he was taking. You know, I'm not trying to whitewash Elvis. I know Elvis abused his medication, abused the pills that he took. It's so obvious. Come on. He got so unwell so quick. And it all just caught up with him, didn't it? But I don't think the book was the answer. I don't think. Now, if Elvis had passed away in the same way and they did not write the book, I think the fans there would have been much more love for some of the Memphis Mafia, much more. I think many of the fans were very bitter towards certain members of the Memphis Mafia, not all of them. So if I could turn back the clock and that book had not been written, I would do it. So I think it harmed Elvis. I think it gutted him. I think it broke his heart. I think one of the guys, I think, one of you have just said that you feel that it made Elvis look more human. I agree. It probably did. But should it have been written? This is the purpose of this morning's live stream. Should it have been written? You know, he died weeks later. The second divorce settlement was hammering at him, and he was getting sicker and sicker. And these were his very close friends. His very close friends were betraying him. I don't care what anyone says. Don't forget, I watched this video yesterday with Dave Hebler, and this interview isn't very old, is it? It's days old. I found the whole thing uncomfortable. I found it very awkward. I found Dave to be a little bit angry and a little bit bitter, even resentful, and to a certain degree slightly envious of Elvis. This is just my opinion, a guy at home. Do you know what? I watch, Deborah mentions Sonny West and says that he was remorseful. I watched some heartbreaking footage of Sonny just before he passed away. Him and his wife had both had different cancers, didn't they? I think Sonny had lung cancer and his wife had stage 3 breast cancer. It's heartbreaking to see them both at that time, you know. I do think he was remorseful, yeah? But it still happened. Elvis went through that. That was one of the last things that would have gone through Elvis's mind would have been how he had been treated by the people around him, the people very close to him. And isn't it a shame that his best friends that he grew up with, he created his own circle of friends in the 50s, really. I know that new people came along, as you know, after the 68 comeback, and then in the 70s, in Vegas. You know, Elvis in 1977, he would have felt let down. You would have felt let down, disappointed. And you ain't, no matter what anyone says, people try and give reasons why the book, it was the right thing to write the book. And they had good reasons to write the book. I would never agree with you. I will never agree that these guys had a good reason to write that book. That's why, to me, we're called Defending Elvis Presley. Anybody that says to me that writing that book was the right thing to do, and they did it to help Elvis, are not Elvis defenders. I really believe that, because even if someone says to me, even if someone gives me 10 reasons why it was the right thing to write the book, I will never agree that it should have gone ahead and been printed and then sold around the world for profit, that these men, his so-called best friends, profited, the sale of each book. Remember, this was tabloid news in all the magazines, loads of news clips. This book trashed Elvis for the whole period of its release. I think it's been re-released a few times. All the way through, the three guys, Sonny, Red, and Dave, have profited. Yeah, I think there was some quite large amounts of money as well that were parted with. And I'm never going to go, oh, that's okay then. It's never going to fit right with me, ever. It will always, to me, be a betrayal. I'll tell you now, if my friend wrote a book about me, and I can relate to this because many of my friends worked for me for my whole life. If my friends wrote a book about me, I'll be disgusted. Right, so let's have a look. Right, Red would still have Elvis back if he needed it every second of every day, even when briefing, physical protector. Since Humes, he slipped up in the book and take the call. Well, I've had information, SK, that Red also bullied Elvis at Humes High before that very famous story that we know, stopping the bullies from cutting his hair. So it's not as clear cut. It's not as clear cut as you think. There's more to it. Dave held grudges for so long. Elvis did so much. Every day, Elvis had a beautiful heart, and there was no reason to write the book about Elvis. I agree. Elvis went through hell. He did, Teresa. Yeah, it just shouldn't have happened, Linda. That's right. A friend that betrays you was never a real friend to begin with. That's right, Gio. And I've had it in my life, guys, so I understand. I was reading it as a child, grieving of Elvis, and it was upsetting to read something I felt must be lies, because Elvis wouldn't have been like that in my mind. I agree. Billy is very close to Elvis, but the Billy situation, there's a complex story. There's more to it. I'm just finishing up now, you had to be around when the book was being released. It was massively scandalous regarding his private life. Elvis must have been gutted inside, a man who fought so hard for his privacy. Yeah, brilliant comment, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Imagine your friend who trusted and loved you betrayed you. I don't blame Lisa that she hated them. I would feel the same way. Me too. And she did hate them. That they say it was sensationalized, but they must have had the final say before it was published. It would never convince me that it was made worse than what they meant. I agree. Fully agree with that. They try and blame the publishers for over sensationalizing it to make it more tabloid, more sellable. I don't care. If you have a friend that is going through some serious issues in their life, how can it be possibly helped to put their dirty laundry out to the world stage? That was too hurt Elvis, and in my opinion. I agree. I totally agree. And do you know what their answer to you would be, Colleen? We thought it would stop him being an addict, stop him taking drugs. Elvis Elvis wasn't going to suddenly stop taking his medication that he needed to stay alive. To stay alive. Elvis was so sick. He needed over 40 tablets a day just to keep him going. So what was he going to do? Just suddenly stop taking all these tablets? He would have dropped down dead. He would have dropped down dead. And I understand he was also taking uppers and downers and painkillers and sedatives. I know that. But unfortunately, by 1977, he was so unwell, chronically sick. He needed many of the medications he took. He did need them just to function. It's so sad to say, but it's true. Let's have a look. Yeah, they were never true friends. Well, I think some of them were true friends, and that's what makes it even worse. I think they did love him. That's what makes it worse. This is why it's a betrayal, because they were once true friends, then became betrayers, if that's the right word. Right, bye, Helen. You take care, Helen. We're finishing up now anyway, guys. I'm going to come back to another one. Let's have a look. Steve Delveny was a writer for the National Enquirer. He knew how to make book exciting. I wonder why the boys accept him to help them. That's unacceptable to me. Once they made up their minds they were going to make money, that was it. Tracy, they were cowards in the end, trying to backtrack in interviews for all the betrayal. It's true, guys. So he was a gossip columnist. They were mad and hurt and they were fired, so they lashed out. They weren't trying to save him. That isn't even logical. I agree, Melissa. I think all of them regretted it. I know they didn't all admit it, but I do think they regretted it. Come on, it tarnished their lives till the day they died. They were getting hate letters till the day they died. Dave Hebler still gets hate letters now. Come on. Dave might be too proud to admit that it was a massive mistake and that it should never have been done. Because I watched that interview and he doesn't show any regret. None. No remorse. He gives excuses all the way through that interview. It's over an hour, isn't it? Is it an hour and 40 minutes? He gives excuses for his betrayal. I don't like it. And then spends the rest of his life making money off it. It's not good. Yeah, money hungry. You don't betray someone at the world stage if you love them. Big time, Tracy. For sure, that book was a brutal betrayal. Red's ego, pain in the life he knew was crumbling away. It's very human. Doesn't make what happened pretty all right. Just very human. I agree with that. The dark side of human nature. Yeah. The dark side. Yeah. Hi, Louis. And I just listened to Red's recording. I feel Red was deplorable for recording the socials. Yeah. Rosemary, hi. Yeah. I agree. Come on, who records their friend? Who does that? I can't even imagine doing that. And he even says that he was expecting Elvis to call because he knew what Elvis was like. So they went out of their way to set up recording devices, waiting for Elvis to phone them. He says it from his own words. I knew Elvis would phone. I knew he would phone. So this was pre-planned, premeditated recording of Elvis's voice talking. A very private conversation. And Elvis had no idea that he was being recorded. Zero. Come on, guys. How can that be right in any way? Dave was an investigator, and I saw that. He was a bit of a spy, wasn't he? I saw that in the interview. And I know that he was boasting about that he was a shoplifter, but they were aware that Dunleavy worked for National Enquiry. They knew the book was going to be salacious. Yeah, come on, it was obvious. It had to be to sell more. Hebler is a pile. I think out of all three of them, Hebler is the worst. I have to agree. Right, that's Melissa. Bye, Jean. You take care. Have a great day, Jean. Yes, Tracy, that is their motive to hurt Elvis. Yeah, they wanted to hurt him. They wanted to get back at him. So obvious. It's clear. I think they admit it. They admit it. They did it out of anger and bitterness. Sonny West said it from his own words. I'm sure he did. They still continued to do the interviews from rooms full of people and made money off Elvis until the day they died. They sure did. They sure did. Gene, right. So Gene's off then. Let's have a look. We're defending Elvis are the polar opposites of these traitors and cowards. We love Elvis to protect his legs. We want to show the good in Elvis. We want to show the good. But they were all taking yeah, they were all doing it as well. Sleep, wake up. I think that some of the Memphis Mafia were taking the street drugs. Some of them, not all of them. Elvis always refused to take the street drugs. He wouldn't do the cocaine and the heroin, you know. Teresa always defended Elvis, definitely. Red was going to use that tape, waiting to see if Elvis said anything to justify what they did. Come on, they recorded it to make money. The reason Red recorded that phone call was because it was another way of making a lot of money. That's all it could have been. Why else do it? What other reason would Red have other than to try and make money or make Elvis look bad? That is the only reason that they, I think, in my opinion, they set up sound recording equipment to secretly record Elvis on this very, very private conversation. The only thing it could have been was money making and to try and make Elvis look bad, to catch him out saying something, to catch Elvis out. But they didn't win, did they? Because Elvis, through that whole conversation, is a perfect gentleman. I repeat, Elvis, through the whole conversation, was a perfect gentleman. They didn't catch him out because he's such a good-hearted, kind man. He basically said, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. They didn't catch him out. If anything, that conversation makes Elvis look good. It makes Elvis look good. Elvis was a true gentleman and a true friend. A true friend. You know. Right. So Trey says, I have no sympathy for them, but the vultures right up to the... I agree. None. Remember, this is the people that wrote the book. Right. Yeah, Linda's right. He was going to use the book, waiting to see if Elvis said anything to justify what he did. Exactly. He was trying to catch Elvis out. We at least have to admit that, guys, that they were trying to catch him out with that recorded phone call. Come on. From what I hear, Sonny West was with Red. When they recorded that phone call, Sonny was with him. It wouldn't surprise me if Dave Hebler was with him as well. I don't know about Dave. I know Sonny was because Red says it. Yeah, I don't know much about Dick Rob. I'd have to look that up. They definitely did hurt Elvis, Teresa. Let's have a look. I would be shocked if Elvis didn't sense that he was being recorded. He knew Red and how he spoke normally on the phone for decades. He sensed Red was recording for sure. I think that's SK. Yeah, I think that's very possible. I'll agree with that. But what a shame. They should have just withdrawn from anything regarding Elvis and and just gone back to their lives. And come on, Elvis, because they'd been doing movie set roles, bit parts, all through Elvis's career, and they'd gone on to Come on, the Memphis Mafia had learned other skills while through working for Elvis, because they did a job. They did different jobs. They were security guards, bodyguards, but they were more than that. They were like Elvis's personal assistants. They could have gone on to work for other celebrities. They had a career. Right, so Coley, Red wanted to say something big so he could make a fortune off it. I agree. They all thought they were going to be minted for the rest of their lives. Well, in a sly way, they were, weren't they? Because they just used his name to carry on making money literally till the day they died. Yeah, Linda, trying to catch him out. Susan, they probably have a lot of dirt on Priscilla. She would be scared they would reveal. Now, Priscilla is for another day, but yeah, they probably do. But I think a lot of them rubbed up to Priscilla because they wanted to make biographies, documentaries, different books. Everything had to go through Priscilla, didn't it? Priscilla, once she became the Queen of Graceland, in charge of everything went through Priscilla. So you'll find that some of these people became very close to Priscilla because it was in their interest financially. Right, so Priscilla was afraid of them because she knew way too much dirt on Priscilla. Yeah, probably true. So Tracy, Susan, it was true that he was taking drugs, but to treat his many health problems, not to get high. Yeah, come on, he probably enjoyed the floaty feeling of taking the medications, the sedatives and the painkillers and all that, but that wasn't the reason he took them. Let's have a look. He set up a trap and it backfired. Well, I don't know if it did backfire. I think he got his phone call, didn't he? He got his phone call. But when you say backfired, do you mean that yes, the fans, there was an outpouring of hate towards these three guys? Is that? Yeah, I think that's what you mean. And the fans never forgave them for their betrayal. To this day, even now, right now, as we speak, the fans have not forgiven them for writing that book. And the Dave Hebler interview clearly shows that. That man, I can tell, is suffering because of that book, because he played part in that film. And I don't wish that on anyone, but the Elvis fans are so loyal. Right, I'm trying to just catch up with your comments. So I've got a bit of a free day today, so I'm going to come back and do some more lives. Right, let's just quickly try and read some of this. We have to remember too that at the time in history, street drugs were becoming a huge problem in the USA. When Reagan became president, they started the Just Say No to Drugs program. I remember that program because we had the British kids go over and participate in that. Right. Who needs enemies with friends like them? Sherry, it's heartbreaking to be so stabbed in the back like that. It's so sick. If you have pain all over, you wanted to stop poor Elvis. Yes, exactly. He was in excruciating pain and discomfort. Of course he needed his medication. Of course he turned to his doctors and his nurses and other doctors. Of course. Let's not make excuses. Right. Who needs enemies? Elvis's ability to read people, especially his closest friends. He sensed where they were mentally and were trying to use him for what they could. Yeah, I agree, SK. Right, so Colleen's going fishing with her 4-year-old, with my son and 4-year-old granddaughter. Wow, that sounds lovely. I hope you got good weather, Colleen. Have a brilliant day, my dear. It bothers me greatly that they were very rarely challenged about participating in a book, and they are challenge. They responded with anger and disdain to the fan. Yeah. Right, guys, I'm going to go. I personally think we're probably going to have to do a part 2 of this, because there's a lot more. I had a lot more clips I was going to show you, but we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm going to have to come back. So I'm going to send you all love. Now, I just want to say about the way we started this live stream this morning. Please, let's all just get on. Let's all just get on. Yeah. And please, just everyone remember, we are defending Elvis. We are Elvis defenders. We're Team Elvis together as a small growing family. We care for each other. We love each other. I want us all to be friendly with each other. Of course, we're going to disagree quite a lot. We're going to get passionate, sometimes a bit upset and angry. But when it really comes down to it, we want to be friendly to each other and always defend Elvis. And that's it. We must keep always remembering this live stream channel is called Defending Elvis Presley. That is what we do. As soon as we get outside of that, we're on the wrong channel. We're on the wrong channel. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, guys. Had a brilliant morning. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to have to shoot off because my wife wants me. So you take care, guys. I appreciate all of you. I send all of you love, and have a great day. But I will be on again today because I've got a free day all day. I'm free all day today. So I'll be back. Take care, guys. All the best. I'll give you a wave.